The Face of Garbo by Roland Barthes. Garbo still belongs to that moment in cinema when capturing the face still plunged audiences into the deepest ecstasy, when one literally lost oneself in a human image, as one would in a filter, when the face represented a kind of absolute state of the flesh, which could be neither reached nor renounced. A few years earlier, the face of Valentino was causing suicides. That of Garbo still partakes of the same rule of courtly love, where the flesh gives rise to the mystical feelings of perdition. It is indeed an admirable face object. In Queen Christina, a film which has again been shown in Paris in the last few years, the makeup has the snowy thickness of a mask. It is not a painted face, but one set in plaster, protected by the surface of the color, not by its lineaments. Amid all this snow at once fragile and compact, the eyes alone, black like strange, soft flesh, but not in the least expressive, are two faintly tremulous wounds. In spite of its extreme beauty, this face, not drawn but sculpted in something smooth and friable, that is at once perfect and ephemeral, comes to resemble the flower-white complexion of Charlie Chaplin, the dark vegetation of his eyes, his totem-like countenance. Now the temptation of the absolute mask, the mask of antiquity, for instance, perhaps implies less than the theme of the secret, as is the case with Italian half-mask, than that of an archetype of the human face. Garbo offered to one's gaze a sort of platonic idea of the human creature, which explains why her face is almost sexually undefined, without, however, leaving one in doubt. It is true that this film, in which Queen Christina is by turns a woman and a young cavalier, lends itself to this lack of differentiation, but Garbo does not perform in it any feat of transvesticism. She is always herself, and carries without pretense under her crown or her wide-brimmed hats the same snowy, solitary face. The name given to her, the divine, probably aimed to convey less a superlative state of beauty than the essence of her corporal person, descended from a heaven where all things are formed and perfected in the clearest light. She herself knew this. How many actresses have consented to let the audience see the ominous maturing of their nature? Not she, however. The essence was not to be degraded. Her face was not to have any reality except that of its perfection, which was intellectual even more than formal. The essence became gradually obscured, progressively veiled with dark glasses, broad hats, and exiles. But it never deteriorated. And yet, in this deified face, something sharper than a mask is looming, a kind of voluntary and therefore human relation between the curve of the nostrils and the arch of the eyebrows, a rare individual function relating two regions of the face. A mask is but a sum of lines. A face, on the contrary, is above all their thematic harmony. Garbo's face represents this fragile moment when the cinema is about to draw an existential from an essential beauty, when the archetype leans towards the fascination of mortal faces, when the clarity of the flesh as essence yields its place to a lyricism of woman. Viewed as a transition, the face of Garbo reconciles two iconographic ages. It assures the passage from awe to charm. As is well known, we are, today, at the other pole of this evolution. The face of Audrey Hepburn, for instance, is individualized, not because of its peculiar thematics, woman as child, woman as kitten, but because of her person, of an almost unique specification of the face, which has nothing of the essence left in it, but is constituted by an infinite complexity of morphological functions. As a language, Garbo's singularity was of the order of the concept. That of Audrey Hepburn is of the order of the substance. The face of Garbo is an idea. That of Hepburn, an event.